Hello everyone! Today's topic you're going to learn about the factors affecting the growth of microorganisms. The following are the factors that affect the growth of microorganisms. Number 1, we have the pH of the surrounding. Number 2, temperature, humidity, light, and nutrients. So these are the 5 factors that affects the growth of microorganisms. So kindly repeat after me. pH of the surrounding, temperature, humidity, nutrients, light. So class, as you can see here, this is the pH scale. Ranges from numbers 0 to 14. So the pH scale measures the acidity or alkalinity of a substance. So as you can see here, numbers 0 to 6, this one are the pH range for acidic substances. And number 7 is neutral. Numbers 8 to 14 are the pH level for an alkaline substance or a base substance. So most organisms grow rapidly. When we say rapidly, meaning it grows faster in pH value of 7. And then most bacteria prefer slightly alkaline or slightly base condition of pH 4. Okay, so as you can see here in this picture, from time to time, the number of bacteria are growing. It depends on the pH level. Most protozoa and fungi grow well in slight acidic conditions. When we say slight acidic, maybe in number 7 or 6. Most microorganisms are destroyed by extreme acidic or extreme alkaline conditions. So when we say extreme acidic, meaning the pH number is 0 and 1. So this one is extreme acidity. And then extreme alkalinity or base, that is from number 13 to 14. So another factor that affects the growth of microorganism is the temperature. So the optimum temperature for the growth of most microorganisms are 30 degrees Celsius to 45 degrees Celsius. Microorganisms are inactive, or when we say inactive, not able to produce, okay, at low temperatures like 5 degrees Celsius. As you can see here, so this is the thermometer, an instrument that measures the temperature. If the temperature reaches 30 to 45 degrees Celsius, then most microorganisms are able to reproduce rapidly. But if the temperature is low, like 5 degrees Celsius, meaning the microorganisms are inactive or not produce rapidly. So the microorganisms are destroyed at high temperature like 60 degrees Celsius. Destroyed meaning it's not only it cannot reproduce, but also it will die if the temperature reaches 60 degrees Celsius, or if the temperature reaches as high as 120 degrees Celsius, microorganisms will reproduce in the form of spores or spores formation. Again, we already discussed what is spore formation all about. Okay, so it will only take place if the condition is unfavorable. Another factor to consider is called humidity. So microorganisms need water for biochemical reactions and to grow. Most suitable condition is a relative humidity of 25% to 40%. Suitable condition meaning it is the right condition for the microorganisms to reproduce or to grow. Most microorganisms die on dry condition, but some may form spores. Again, spores formation, it will only take place if the condition is unfavorable, like dry condition. Light. microorganisms which have chlorophyll. Do you still remember what chlorophyll is? So last week we discussed about chlorophyll. So chlorophyll is the green pigment of the plants where it traps light energy for the plants to make its own food. Okay, example of the microorganisms that having chlorophyll is an algae. So algae grow well in the presence of light. Other microorganisms prefer dark conditions. And the last one is what we call nutrients. Microorganisms, except viruses, need nutrients. So autotrophs synthesize their own food. When we say autotrophs, those microorganisms that make its own food. Auto means self. Trophs means to make. Parasites obtain nutrients from dead and decaying organisms. Okay, so before we have our review today, let me remind you that I prepared a short quiz and I attached it in your Google Class or in your Google Classroom. So kindly answer right after our discussion today.
Most people don't realize just how small bacteria really are. In fact, over 500,000 bacteria can fit on the point of a pin. Most people may only need to eat about 1,000 of some disease-causing bacteria to make them sick. This means you could make 500 people sick with what can fit on that pinpoint. Unlike a lot of other things that make people sick, bacteria can reproduce and grow out in the environment. Bacteria reproduce by splitting in half. This kind of reproduction can make a small problem very large very quickly. Let's imagine we have 5 bacteria that reproduce every 15 minutes. After 30 minutes, the colony of bacteria would be 20 bacteria large. After 1 hour, there would be 80 bacteria. Another half hour would grow the population to 320 bacteria. After a total of 2 hours, 1,280 bacteria would have formed. You can see how fast a problem can grow in the right circumstances. It's also important to remember that there are things you can do to slow this growth down. Bacteria grow best when they have their fat tom around. Fat tom stands for food, acidity, time, temperature, oxygen, and moisture. Making these things unfavorable to bacteria will decrease the growth. The more of these you can make unfavorable to growth, the better your chances of producing safe fruits and vegetables.
Okay, class, I would like you to compare your answer or check your own answer after this slide. Thank you so much and have a nice day.